Defensive Tactics Study Guide, Part 2, Section 3, or Section 2, Part 3, whichever. Identify the desired state of awareness or readiness an officer should maintain while on routine daily. Condition yellow, a state of relaxed, generalized alertness. The officer is not paranoid, but their eyes and senses are actively scanning the environment to detect potential anomalies or threats before they mature. List techniques that may assist an officer in managing the effects of survival stress. Management techniques include maintaining a high state of physical and cardiovascular fitness, getting proper sleep and nutrition, practicing controlled tactical breathing, example box breathing, visualizing threat scenarios, mental pre-planning, utilizing gross motor techniques over fine motor skills, and training under highly realistic, stressful environmental conditions. Describe the fundamental principles of applying defensive tactics. Balance, keeping the head aligned directly over the hips with weight distributed evenly to prevent being easily knocked over. Leverage, applying a mechanical advantage against the subject's weaker anatomical points or joints to move a larger force with less effort. Pain compliance, utilizing a controlled burst of physical discomfort alongside clear verbal commands to persuade a resisting subject to comply. Describe how to gain control over a subject when applying defensive tactics. Control is achieved through specific physiological mechanisms, mechanical compliance, locking a joint structurally, joint manipulation, or twisting joints to cause discomfort, or motor dysfunction, which striking a muscle to cause temporary paralysis. Penetrating strikes, which are deeply transferring kinetic energy, or using a clinch to stall or transition. Describe the components of appropriate verbal direction. Verbal commands must be proper, clear, brief, and delivered in an authoritative, loud voice. They must explicitly dictate exactly what physical action the subject is required to perform. For example, step back, put your hands behind your desk. Put your hands behind your back. Identify the need for conducting a threat assessment. Continuous threat assessment is required to dynamically process a fluid situation, allowing an officer to recognize escalating danger early and select an appropriate, legally justified use of force response. Identify verbal and nonverbal cues in assessing threats. Verbal cues, explicit threats, sudden stuttering, intense swearing, or a complete refusal to talk. Nonverbal cues such as clenched fist, a flushed face, rapid, heavy breathing, tensing muscles, target glancing, looking at the officer's weapon or chin, shifting into a combat stance, or completely ignoring the officer's presence. Demonstrate the interview stance. Stand with your head, hips, and feet properly aligned. Keep feet shoulder width apart with knees slightly unlocked. Angle your body with your strong side, weapon side, bladed away from the subject. And hold your hands up naturally above waist level for rapid deployment. Demonstrate the offensive ready stance. Align your head, hips, and feet while tucking your chin slightly. Spread your feet slightly wider than shoulder width. Blade your strong side away from the threat, and raise your hands to a high guard position just below eye level, centered in front of your chest. Identify relative positioning. This refers to the officer's location relative to the subject's body. Structured using numbers or quarters. For example, position 0 is directly in front. Position 1 and 2 are the front 45-degree angles. Position 3 is directly to the side. Position 4 are the rear 45-degree angles. and position 6 is directly behind. Demonstrate how to maintain a minimum reactionary gap. Maintain a minimum distance of 6 to 9 feet away from the subject when their hands are completely visible, and expand that gap to a minimum of 25 feet if their hands are hidden inside the pockets or behind their back. Identify the danger zone. The immediate physical space located inside the reactionary gap. Entering the zone without establishing control severely limits an officer's ability to react to a sudden physical strike or weapon draw. Demonstrate hand clearing. Maintain your reactionary gap. Assume a solid stance. Identify yourself clearly and issue loud, precise verbal instructions, commanding the subject to slowly and completely remove their hands from their pockets or waistband and expose both open palms. Define reaction time principle. The exact duration of time required for an officer's sensory organs to see a threat, transfer that data to the brain, analyze the threat, pick a tactical solution, and physically execute the motor action. Demonstrate evasion and redirection techniques. Evasion is a sidestep or shift your torso completely out of the incoming line of an attack. Redirection, engage open palms to push against the subject's shoulders, arms, or incoming momentum, safely steering their force away from your body. Demonstrate pressure points. Apply touch pressure, firm, concentrated pressure using the tip of the thumb or index finger to a designated target area. Example, under the jaw, hollow behind the ear, hollow behind the collarbone, or the elbow under the shoulder blade. While establishing firm stabilization of the subject's head or body, release the pressure immediately upon compliance.